Oh, playing great.
Hello, bright and shiny beacons of light. Woohoo! We are in Sedona. It looks like there's a car that stopped by that sees all the TV cameras, all the good stuff here, and they're wondering what in the world is going on. And what's going on is us. Well, Jessica's off camera tonight. She is running all things AV. I am the floating head. I am Michael Sandler, host of the Inspire Nation show. That's my love. That's my light. That is my everything.
We decided to break out the studio lights for the first time on the road.
You are glowing tonight. Oh my God,
So
you
are
are
you.
glowing.
Mainly because we've got 4 of these that we've packed into the RV.
We have 4 of them, these
Yes,
lights? Wow.
The RV is super cramped, and I didn't want to feel like we packed these for nothing.
So what you're really saying is the reason you've been melting down and falling apart because of the clutter has been so that we could get the lights out of the RV and use them.
I guess so.
Does that sound about right? Tonight we're going to have fun. We are going to talk about mind control, and that's not woo. Mind control. What it is how we move past these fears, worries, blocks, concerns that are stopping us, freaking us out, causing us to fall apart like, oh my God, clutter, and help us to get to the other side. With that said, a couple of things. We've got our automatic writing program right now, which is the #1 way you can figure out how to turn your journaling into channeling and get guidance in life. That you can find that at automaticwriting.com. And our boot camp, if you want to learn how to go from breakdown to breakthrough, it's only $7 to check it out. Oh my God. That is at inspirenationuniversity.com. Is that right?
Yes.
And Jessica is going to put the links in for that. So come join us. That is this coming Wednesday at got to do these time zone conversions here at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Pacific. You can join us for our upcoming boot camp on From Breakdown to Breakthrough. And lastly, if you've been following our tour, we're in Sedona. How does it get any better than this? And we have all sorts of behind the scenes information, footage, videos, really, 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 really cool stuff. And I'm completely biased. And you can find that at patreon.com, patreon.com/Inspire Nation. We might move these a little bit earlier. Jessica is really enjoying this outside stuff. I know we recorded from Zion National Park last week. We did some recordings. We recorded from West Yellowstone, I believe. So we're working on getting this new format going, which is kind of sharing the journey with you, our audience, and the lessons along the way. So with that said, again, patreon.com/Inspire Nation. Come support the show. Check out all of our behind the scenes goodness, falling apartedness, and falling togetherness. And that's really what this is. I've told Jessica to take the week off because she's going, how do we juggle everything while we're here, get the RV under control, figure everything out? And I'm like, man, we're in Sedona. This is like the healing place. And anybody who's followed our journey knows that some good healing would be in order. So I want you to just take the week off, just chillax. My guess is if you take the week off and you feel like, oh no, what's going to happen with the entire business? If we take the week off, the business is going to go onto not a rebounder, but an in the ground trampoline. And it's going to go up like that. And so I want you to embody Sedona this week. I want you to embody it. Mind control, and I can hear Lovebug in the window. In fact, all there is a screen, and I'm a little bit concerned because, oh no, don't go tearing on the. Oh gosh, you may have to go. Actually, I think you can reach from the outside. Why are we scooting me over?
Because you're not centered.
Is that better?
Yes, it's better.
Okay, so 3 nights ago, we're driving into Sedona.
Mm-hmm.
And understand, Jessica wants, let me set the stage here. Jessica wants to move us to Sedona. This is her town. This is her place. This is her everything. Me? Yeah. And I'm here and still, yeah. But actually, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what I want. Why? Because if the Pookie happy, the who be happy. Now, I prefer skiing and all this stuff. There's no really ski Sedona. But if the Pookie's happy, I'm happy. So we're working to get into Sedona. And it has been a very long day ride on very exceptionally creative roads, shall we say, across the Navajo Nation, coming out of...
Creative.
So that way the RV is rocking to the sides and is doing everything it can to go other directions than straight. And so we are working on getting into Sedona. And that night, we get to Flagstaff. We're running into some, if anybody has an RV, Blackwater challenges with the RV. And we're trying to get it dumped out. And there's all sorts of systems going wrong. We figure it out. And we start driving down this twisty, turny mountain road.
In the dark.
To Sedona, because I promise her I will get you to Sedona.
I didn't ask for this, though. I mean, I knew eventually we would arrive, but I didn't need to get here on that day.
No, you didn't. But I knew getting you to Sedona would help you very, very much. And I did not want to go to Sedona. I mean, I was okay going to Sedona, but I was scared and concerned, is this going to be the place that we're going to be? And this has to do with tonight's topic of mind control. Because the last time I felt this way, we were living on Maui. And we ran into some massive financial challenges. We ran into business challenges. This is many, many years ago. We ran into health challenges with you. And I was saying, any place but New Jersey, any place but New Jersey. And what happened when we got to New Jersey?
Inspire Nation show was born.
All good things. Can I put this closer to you?
Yeah,
all good things came.
I'm going to move this light back too.
Out of getting to New Jersey. However, the subconscious didn't want to hear that. People are going, Flagstaff has skiing. I mean, cross-country skiing, like out the door, because if skiing is an hour and a half away, I won't be doing it. That's just not my style. I am my land. You are a walking, talking expression of your land. You are a walking, talking expression of your land. So if it's an hour and a half to the way to get to the land of skiing, you'll be doing something else, at least on a regular basis. It's not important. What is important here is I wanted to face that fear quickly. I said, we've been on the road 2 weeks. Our advisor had said, why didn't you take her to Sedona right away? That's what you're supposed to do. And we kept going around and around and around. And your heart has been up, it's been down, it's been sideways, and it's been screaming. And so I'm like, I got to get you to Sedona right away. And I wanted to face this fear. And I wanted to do it a different way, a way that was not about, well, let's go there, shall we?
I don't know what you're talking about, but let's do it.
There have been, I think, at least 3 instances in our lives. The first one is going on book tour 10, 11 years ago.
Actually, we were living in Taos, New Mexico in an earth ship.
Yep.
And the earth ship was falling apart.
Yep.
We were renting it.
Yep.
And suddenly it became clear that we needed to pack up and move. Mm-hmm. We had no running water, no electricity.
That'd be a hint or two.
And you were in the middle of book tour.
I was.
So on the weekend, when you didn't have any speaking engagements, mm-hmm. we packed up the whole house. We packed up this truck with an angel that you met on an airplane.
Yes, flying back, almost like a little private plane flying back from Toronto to someplace. Then
to Phoenix. And somehow he offered to drive up from Phoenix and help us pack this moving truck. But anyway, we continued the book tour with a moving truck, and the book tour took us through Sedona. Mm-hmm. You want to take it from there? Because I don't know how much you want to. Is this not what you wanted to share?
This wasn't what I wanted to share. I was backing up to a completely different topic.
Oh.
But hey, we'll go there. We pull into Sedona. My blood sugar's low. I melted down. Somebody actually asked.
We pull into a gas station. I'm driving my Suzuki hatchback, pulling a trailer, and he's in the moving truck. And we both pull into the gas station. And I don't know what the discussion was about.
I have no idea.
But you melted down.
And by melted down, this doesn't mean I'm like angry with her. I'm like falling apart, sort of like Ruru when he's overtired. I'm like a mess.
But the sensitive person that I am, I think you are angry at me.
Which I wasn't, but a innocent bystander comes running up, I think something like, "Do you want me to call the police?" This is like 10 years ago. Oh my God. That's like my last experience with Sedona, I think. No, actually, I did a book tour since then. I came through here. I had the batteries on the RV dying. I had all other systems in the RV dying. I did pull into Oak Tree.
Uh-huh.
And I had a blissful time there, but the energy didn't feel right. That's not where I was going with anything, though.
You mean Oak Creek Village?
Yes. I pulled into Oak, where we were earlier today. Where I was going is there is a wound inside of me. And that's what we're talking about. We're talking about what can we do to work on these wounds and subconscious blocks. And the wound inside of me is a lack of home stability. That's ultimately it.
Oh.
I will stay in one place until the place is blowing up around me.
I have other memories about that.
All right, now you go. As long as it's on this topic of mind control, because what I want to get to is just how substantial these wounds are.
Mm-hmm.
And then what I've been doing to ninja these wounds and watch these wounds and leap past these wounds, because I think that's where everybody's going to learn tonight, because we all have triggers. Getting into Phoenix, getting into Sedona has been some of the greatest triggers of my life. And yet I've handled them so radically differently than ever before.
You have.
And if everybody sees me continuously going like this, it doesn't mean that I'm having a seizure right now. It means that I keep on checking on the love bug who is in the window, very concerned about looking at us right now. And so I am keeping a very close eye on her because there's a screen there, but she has these little things.
I think we would hear.
You think so?
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, so take it away.
Oh, you actually want me to share that other incident?
Which one? There's Albuquerque.
Yes, Albuquerque.
There is certainly we can discuss.
Boulder.
I say go for them all. Put it out there.
Really?
This has been a wound that has repeated itself and is not doing so anymore. In fact, we have used this wound to be extra cognizant's not the right word, because it's not about mental awareness, but it's about awareness here. And so I've actually used that wound to go to the other side of it. So share, drag me through the mug and mire.
We've been calling this a healing journey, and it really is an opportunity for us to revisit all the past events that created some significant wounds in both of us.
Mm-hmm.
And
here she goes, folks.
No, I'm trying to actually compliment you on how far you've come. But okay, first the story.
People are waiting with bated breath.
I'm sorry. Okay. Okay. Let's go to Albuquerque.
All right.
It's
set the stage.
It's 2010. We're on book tour. It's actually it's 2011. Second book.
No, it's 2010. It's first book tour. First, we had gotten 2 weeks earlier. We gotten kicked out of one motel for having the dogs. We had just not been able to renew our lease, and we're going on book tour. So we couldn't renew our lease at a place that I'd been at for years. We got kicked out of the first motel. The second motel was okay, but didn't feel really great. We were crammed in this one room.
Oh yeah, they had one section designated for pets, and so it was really dark, very little lighting. And at the time, one of our dogs had just gotten cancer treatment and actually surgery, very major surgery. So it was a dark and depressing time.
It was very dark and depressing. They did have a waffle maker. There is some continuity to that. We got to get to these waffles. But it was, and we went out on a book tour without having a book in hand yet. We just mailed off the manuscript. And so my inner wisdom, my something is saying, you're going out on book tour without a book. What are you thinking? You've put your wife, your family in a motel room. Would think that. What are you thinking? You're really going homeless. What are you thinking? You have checked your account. You have about $97 in change. Exaggeration, but not far off. We did run out of money. What are you thinking?
No, we didn't. We had 10 cents.
Woohoo!
Literally. But let's not get off track.
So my ego is feeling like I am about this big. And then we have our first talk in Albuquerque. Was it before the talk? I think it was, or was it after the talk?
Probably before. We arrive in Albuquerque a little bit early, which is a good thing, you think. But then we try and check into the motel early, and they wouldn't allow us to check in.
Yeah. And so we're in the parking lot. Now I had I'm going to see if I can lower this a bit more so people can see our hands here. I had major blood sugar challenges. I was a lot of a Dr. Jekyll and a Mr. Hyde. Not like the angry drunk. I was just a disaster when my blood sugar would crash. And so here we are, no place to go, nothing to eat. We're having to wait to be able to get into a room, and the not having a place to live or being able to get out of the car toggle switched all of these switches saying you're a loser, you're a screw up, you're no good, you can't do it. On and on and on and on it goes. No, we didn't have a waffle maker. That was with the motel that we had been staying in. They had a waffle maker.
But we have a waffle maker now.
We haven't used this thing. What's up with that? Sorry. And I fell apart. I completely fell apart. The wound of not having a place to stay, of not knowing where we're going, was huge. First off, even though it's been 10 years, I'm so sorry. I'm really
okay.
Sorry. And so I don't know if you had anything to add about that, except
Not about that incident. No. But in many respects, you could say that we're mimicking some of those elements.
We are. And then let's take it to another extreme. We come off of book tour. It had been, by book tour standards, pretty successful. No, but wildly successful. We were an indie bestseller book. And it was kind of cool. And we were finally seeing the dollars coming in. Thank God. And we pull into the town next to Boulder. And we have no place to go. We couldn't find a place to rent. We couldn't find a motel room in town.
No, we found a motel room.
Outside of town.
Yep, outside of town.
But not in town. That was actually a big difference to my ego.
Oh, that's right.
I felt like I couldn't come home. I felt like I wasn't allowed home, that I was a screw up and a loser, and I wasn't allowed back home because I hadn't done a good enough job on book tour. And that toggled those same switches.
You know, logically, that didn't really make sense at the time either, though, because we hadn't actually actively looked for a place to move to.
Doesn't matter to my subconscious. And I'm sharing this not to say, hey, guys, I'm a raving loon. And this is truly 10 years ago. But what I am trying to say is we all have these wounds inside of us, massive, massive wounds, where logic has absolutely no bearing at all. You could not logic this to me and say, dude, you just did an amazing book tour. You just sold like 10,000 copies of your book. You've got the #1 exercise and fitness book on Kindle out of any book in the world. You guys are awesome. And I'm going, well, this is a family-friendly show. I can't even tell you what the language was that was going on in my head. So that was incident number 2. And then it was milder, was moving to New Jersey to your childhood bedroom, because if I had flipped out for that one, your parents, it would have been ugly. So my ego was kind of just squashed down.
Mhm.
Although I did a lot of work with automatic writing. Oh my God, did I do a lot of work on healing that? But still, I've had this wound and trigger in me. And your fear, I believe, forget about Sedona, even though we're in Sedona. The wound and fear has been, oh no, Michael's going to Michael's going to fall apart out on tour, or fall apart in Sedona. Or, okay, let's be honest. We have this amazing RV we're renting here for another 3.5 weeks or 4 weeks. I pray it's 4 weeks, but 3.5 to 4 weeks. We have no home at the moment. We've got money. Everything's in storage right now back in Colorado. We don't know where we want to be. We don't know what we want to do. We're going to have to either move into a rental or buy another RV in the next 3.5 weeks. We don't even know what town or state. Jessica's going, of course we do, it's here. Maybe. I'm open. But there's a part of you that is going, oh my God, what kind of wounds is this going to trigger in the hoobie?
Yeah. And these are on the surface. I'm well aware of them, but a lot of it's subconscious too, because logically I can reason to myself, Michael's done a lot of work. He's healed a lot of wounds. He's not the same Michael as 10 years ago, but it's almost as if my subconscious won't be convinced unless it witnesses the new Michael in action in the fire.
What's interesting to me, and people are going, just find an Airbnb, and Arcana, you're right. There is a little bit of a challenge with the 3 kitties and the rooster, but we could probably overcome.
The rooster likes to crow.
Yes,
all day long.
He is a bugler, not all day long, but he is a bugler, and he has amazing voice, amazing.
Randomly throughout the day.
Not randomly. He has reasons. He has needs. He never bugles without a reason. But with that said, I have watched you. Please forgive me for sharing this.
Fall apart?
Not just fall apart, but pull out the pitchfork to see, is this dude for real or not?
Are you sure it's a pitchfork? I think it's more like a stinger.
Okay, you're a Scorpio. I'll buy that. So when I have not fallen apart, and I want to get back to 2 evenings ago, you have taken your and gone to say, is this for real or is he bluffing? Let us see how deep this wound goes and if he has really done the work.
That might be my higher self, because I'm not actually thinking.
And I've watched it.
I'm not actually going, let me test this by like poking you. And...
So the cool thing is,
let me say this. I don't know if this is where you're going, but the cool thing is I have fallen apart because it is uncomfortable not knowing where we're going to be. I at this point in my life, I enjoy stability. In my early 20s, my mid 20s, even my late 20s, I was bouncing around all over the place, and living out of the back of my car, which is totally fine back then. But right now, I'm still in like, we plan on starting a family, so I want a nest. I want to get grounded. So there have been many moments where I've fallen apart, and you've actually been my rock in a way that you've never really been before.
Guilty on both accounts.
I mean, you started becoming my rock about 5 years ago when I got sick with from black mold. But it's been a steady progression, and during this trip, you really stepped up to the plate in a way that you've never done before.
Thank you. And so if anybody's saying, well, Michael, you should find your happiness, if you don't have compromise, there's going to be resentment or any of this, understand that if I am the rock and I support you at this time, we will be so incredibly happy and so incredibly abundant and fulfilled. And all these things start from that. Because if you have no foundation, then we have nothing. It's 2 nights ago. We're leaving Flagstaff. It's dark. We head out on this twisty mountain road. There's dead bugs all over the windshield. I have a hard time seeing.
You try and clean the windshield.
I say, I know this may be a bad idea.
I'm like, no, don't do it, but it was too late.
And I press the windshield wiper squirt button, and it goes, and just smears the dead bugs all over the windshield, so that now we're on a twisty, turny mountain road, and every car that's coming,
it has its high beams on.
I cannot see anything. All I can say, I say, Pookie, you're going to have to be my second set of eyes. I can only see the white line. We're driving a 14-ton, 35-foot-long vehicle. And so she's trying to Google, figure out where we're going. Where are we even going? We had stopped at a county park, but it said there's no sleeping for the night, so we had moved on. And so we find this county, this, what do you call it? National Forest Road. And I don't know if you decide, I decide, we decide, the angels decide we should turn into this road.
I pointed it out. Mm-hmm. And so it was probably my fault.
We dive off in their 14-ton, 35-foot vehicle onto this road.
I don't think you really dove off.
We gently coaxed the vehicle off the road onto this dirt road where you felt it would be fine to just park right there because there's nobody on this road. It's nice and quiet.
But apparently this week is fall break in Arizona, and so everybody is out.
Everybody, the entire state of California is in Sedona today,
and people here really like camping.
I appreciate that. They're our homies.
So it was every couple minutes I think a car was coming off the highway onto this dirt road to pull into this.
So we had to find a different place to park along this road. And I walked a section that I thought might be okay. I didn't realize there was a dip. I asked Jessica to get out. She looks at it and goes, "What are you thinking?" Which is why we're a great team here.
Fine for a car, but a long vehicle doesn't do well with dips.
So, but at this point, I've actually started to make the turn. And I'm kind of committed. I'm out there and cars are trying to get past us in both directions in the dark on a dirt road on this national forest road. And I guess it's one of my all-time favorite songs. It's from the 70s, To Freak. Uh-huh. It would have been a perfect opportunity. Don't know where we're going. Don't know what we're doing. RV stuck. Cars trying to get by. Line of cars. It's dark. It's dangerous. If you make the turn wrong, you're going to hit a tree. You're going to fall into a ditch. You're going to literally roll the RV because it did roll off on the sides. It in a sense, it feels kind of life or death. And how was I doing?
What's that saying? Cool as a clam, calm as a clam.
I've been using calm as a cool
cucumber.
Cool as a cucumber.
Or I got the clam.
Like, we're cool. We got this. I'm like, we're good. And there's like lines of cars behind us. I'm like, if it takes all evening, we're good. So what was I doing? I was watching all of this drive coming out of the Grand Canyon all the way through the Navajo reservation. And understand, I dated a Navajo girl for 6.5 years. I thought we were going to get married. It completely blew itself apart as it was supposed to. So I'm going from Grand Canyon, where we were exhausted and did one heck of a too long of a hike. Although Ruru was really just the rock star there. Take a rooster out in a national park and people go crazy. So cool. So I'm driving back in time. I'm watching all of my wounds. I'm watching all of my experiences through this drive. And I'm doing healing work this whole drive. Where are the wounds? What is hurting you? Where is it open? What hasn't been healed? What can we learn from this? And mind control was taking place this whole time of watching each experience and treating myself with such love, with such tenderness, and such understanding of oh, this triggered this. That's why you're that way. It's okay, Michael. This did this. That's why you're responding that way. It's okay, Michael. And a combination of prayer and a combination of awareness and driving through the reservation was like driving back in time, driving into my subconscious. That when we got to Stockton on this forest road, I think it was like 533 or something, I knew what it was. It was we got this experience, also known as a cosmic setup. The lessons always match the wounds. You're not good enough. You screwed up. You're putting yourself in danger. You have no place to go. You're completely out there. There's pressure behind you. There's cars waiting. What are you going to do? How are you going to make? And I'm like, oh, no. I see this. I see it for what it is. Mind control is recognizing things for what they are. Oftentimes I talk about things are not as they appear to be. But in this case, they are hyper accurately exactly what they're supposed to be. They are laser surgery in the moment. And the angels are going with light and laser to show me, you've got this. You're not who you were. None of those things are what you are at this point. And that bearing witness, that awareness, bearing witness to my subconscious, freed me. That to me is mind control, is bearing witness to your subconscious. Because when you can fully bear witness and lean into it, I was not going kumbaya during this drive. I was scared. I was fearful. And I was leaning in and breathing into that fear continuously as I was doing all of this inner work. That's what that drive was. That's why we haven't figured out the car radio yet. I don't know how many thousands of miles we are in yet. Other than there's a Dave Matthews CD in there that we could just play over and over. I'm diving into the work. We can each dive into the work. Bear witness. It's all about the awareness and then treating it with love. And so by the time we got into this experience, to me, the most important statement that I made to you on top of we've got this, because I was really trying to watch and not say anything negative. I know I said when we were in Flagstaff, this feels like another incident, me moving to California. I put my house on the market when I lived in Fort Collins, Colorado. It was time for me to move. I put my house up for sale. I moved to California to become a pro triathlete. I've been a pro cyclist and I loved swimming and loved running, still do. And between you and me, I'd gone through a bankruptcy. Almost every great success story has a bankruptcy or near bankruptcy in there. I'd gone through a bankruptcy and I get to San Diego. I put everything into storage. I live on somebody's couch for a day or two where they have cat fights in the night on my sleeper sofa. I got no sleep at all.
Wait, literal cat fights? On top of you?
Crazy. I was completely freaked out. And then in the daytime, I'm driving around with Pumpkin and Sawa in the car, my two dogs. And if I parked for even 1 minute, I towed the car behind the U-Haul. Then people would start screaming at me because in California, they're going to bust in your window if you leave a dog in the car if it's not even hot. And I went and I tried to rent some places. One place pulled my credit. I want to say it was a 437. I don't know what it was.
That's high.
My credit was so low that they actually showed it to me and it said on a statement, do not rent to this person. They are a danger or something to that effect. It actually had a statement on there recommending that this person is likely going to steal the windows out of the frames or something.
Oh. Wow.
And I couldn't find a place to live. I couldn't find a place to go. And in 2 weeks, when my then kind of sort of ex-girlfriend who'd driven out with me, but then had gone her own way to Pasadena.
I didn't know that part of the story.
Yeah, we had a short relationship, but it was always planning on being temporary. But I called her up and said, "Are you heading back to Colorado? Do you want to ride back in the U-Haul?" And she's like, "Well, I'm going this afternoon. You'd have to have everything packed up." And in half a day, I took all of my life possessions that I still had in the storage unit, loaded them back up in a U-Haul, and away we went. And I felt like such a failure, such a worthless POS. There's no other way to put it. That San Diego and California had rejected me and I wasn't good enough. The thing is, I actually got 2 master's degrees like a year or 2 later because I went back to school because it hadn't worked. It was awesome. But to my ego, it was the opposite. And in Flagstaff, that wound was coming back up. You've packed everything up. You don't know where you go. You are going to put tail between your legs and have to go home. Home. We don't even know quite where home is.
And actually, when you share that with me,
I was sharing the gentle version.
I started to freak out because I'm thinking, oh no.
Here he goes. At which point you go, let's see if this is real. Let's see if he's going to go.
No, it's not. I think, okay, whatever you're experiencing as was probably me putting up my wall of defense to protect myself. Not because I needed to, but because of my wounds from
that I had gifted you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that it doesn't take 2 to tango. I'm not saying I'm this bad, awful person. But it is right for your nervous system to be on a heightened state of alert. So when we got there and the RV is stuck, and it is just not a worst case scenario, it was just a perfect scenario. Laser surgery from the angels. I'm saying 2 things to her. 1, we've got this. We're good. And 2, which is perhaps the most important thing, we have all the time in the world. I call this RV, which you could see a little while ago, you can't see now, I call her the slow boat. And I say that for this week in Sedona as well, that you don't have to do a damn bit of work. We have all the time, I'm gonna cry, in the world.
Does that mean I also don't have to ride Black Diamond mountain biking trails?
Hey, that was your game, baby. And you did amazingly well for a well, now you are a Black Diamond mountain biker. That's a whole nother story. We have all the time in the world. We freak out because we think we need an answer this minute. And even though I'm literally blocking traffic, literally cars out onto the highway, literally could drive off the edge and tip this thing over or something, we had all the time in the world. That is the opposite of freak out.
And you repeated that to me, those statements to me several times. And I don't think I think I ignored the first few times you said those things. And didn't really sink in until like the 5th or 6th time. It's like I didn't really, my programming wouldn't accept that version. It wouldn't accept that tract until I started to witness that, wait a minute, he's actually living what he's saying. He's actually... Yeah.
One more story if we can.
Okay.
Oh, and living what he's saying. First, finish that. We pull into Sedona the next day. All of the places are full. In fact, I felt really good about this. First off, it's like spring break down here. I don't know what Sedona is normally, but this place is party city. Cars every which way, 4x4s every which way, rock crawlery things called Can-Ams every which way. I'm trying to get through roundabouts after coming through a twisty, turny mountain road where there are more people than ants and anthills walking across the road and on the side of the road trying to get down this thing, right?
I didn't notice.
You didn't notice the lines of people walking at these trailheads from California? You pointed them out to me.
In the
Going
RV?
to these trails, coming down the twisty turny mountain road.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Before we got to Sedona.
In the twisty turny road.
Yeah.
So we get to Sedona with the 35-foot 14-ton RV. Then I have to get through multiple roundabouts with cars going every which way. We don't know what to go. We don't know what to do. We barely get into a Whole Foods parking lot. There's a person like glaring at me with his dog. Like, what are you doing? As I'm like stuck on a tree branch with the RV.
I don't think he was glaring.
He was just like, I get parked. I call a RV park, and even though they said on voicemail they had said we're full till next month, and I said, have you had a cancellation? And she goes, by chance I just did, but we didn't actually fit. It was for, I don't know,
A smaller
RV or pickup truck. And I'm like, all right, what do we do? And Jessica says, well, there's this Elks Lodge. And I'm like, I'm on it. And we drive to the Elks Lodge, and it's full. They have some RV parking there. And I look at all the people parked there, and I said, somebody is going to move today. Somebody, it's a first come, first serve. Somebody is going to leave. And I pull off to the side, and I say, we've got this. If we have to wait all day for somebody to move out of their space, we will. If we have to wait till tomorrow for somebody to leave their space, we will. We have all the time in the world. The subconscious wants to say, I need an answer now. I need a solution now. Gimme, gimme, gimme.
My subconscious was actually worried that you would replay something from the past.
Yeah.
And then my subconscious is saying, he's going to think that there's no flow in Sedona. He's going to think that Sedona is awful and just
Kicking
bad
him out.
things happen in Sedona, and then Sedona is going to kick him out.
And instead,
you got into flow.
And a vehicle pulled out, and it was ours. And we spoke with the head person here, and it was ours. And it was actually relatively, I don't know if it was an hour later, whatever it was perfect time to stretch our legs and
tidy up.
It was perfect. By bringing awareness to the subconscious and what it's up to, leaning into it. I had to lean into going to Sedona. Now, I don't care how it works out. It's going to work out great. I'm not attached. If you say tomorrow we're renting a place, we're moving to Sedona, woohoo. If you say tomorrow we're moving on to Driggs, woohoo. If you say we're getting an RV and we'll stay here for a while and we'll see, woohoo. It's all perfect. The more important journey, the only journey that matters, first off, the only journey that matters is this. That was as close to PDA as I'll come. How's that? She's going. This is all that matters. But on top of that, this is all that matters. The inner journey, the outer is going to reflect. It's not reality. It's going to reflect what's going on in here. Lean into it in here. Lean into all of it in here. The outer changes. I found a spot. This is awesome. This is perfect. We're recording outside. How does it get any better than this? All right, we didn't have the tow vehicle we wanted. We instead have these mountain bikes. We got to play You Black Diamond today.
Getting in really good shape.
I have not been in this good of cycling shape.
So we have e-bikes. Mine's
mountain bikes. They're
Yeah.
mountain bikes with little motors on them.
Mine's what, 37 pounds?
Yeah, that sounds
yours
about
is
right.
50 pounds.
Yep.
And so when we're like going up a steep hill with road traffic, I put my e-bike in turbo, like the highest setting.
Of motor assist.
Yeah. And he keeps his off. and he's keeping up with me. And if you've ever been on a bicycle, then you might know that if you're a lighter person, it's much easier to climb hills. So he's heavier because he's taller, and he's also riding a heavier e-bike, and he's
carrying the water.
And he's my mule. He likes to carry my stuff and my water for me, and I'm very grateful for that. So he's hauling an extra like 40 pounds easy, and with no assist, and he's keeping up with me.
I am feeling the strongest that I have felt since I raced bicycles in Europe. And that is because I have said it before and I will say it again. I am meant to move. Keeping me behind the desk is not what this body was made for. And we do this Black Diamond ride.
We thought it was a green circle.
Green is easy. Black Diamond, the opposite of green.
We had spoken to one of our neighbors, and he gave you some suggestions for some easy trails.
Yep.
And I guess to him, he thought this was an easy trail.
Absolutely.
And we're on it.
And he is a racer, but
I'm like, oh my God, people here are like amazing that they consider this a green circle. I'm like, what is a Black Diamond? This is a green circle. But because I thought it was a green circle, I thought it should be easy. It actually got me to go down pretty gnarly stuff. I did walk my bike a lot because I know what my limits are. But I'm very proud of myself now, because when we got home, I happened to look at an open web browser, and I saw that trail listed, Slim Shady expert with the Black Diamond. I'm like, wow, I did that.
And it's one thing with modern technology. It's one thing to ride the trail. It's another thing where the majority of people on it are on full suspension weight weenie bicycles. You're still on a 37-pound motor, which is good for the uphill, but not for this technical stuff. And you were doing it.
I was doing it.
Yeah. It's pretty, and that is leaping past the subconscious.
It's also an important lesson about like your perception of something. If you go into it thinking it's expert level, the most difficult trail out there, or one of the more difficult trails out there, then you're going to approach it with a lot of hesitation, a lot more hesitation anyway.
Mm-hmm. And there's several key points here about that. You are a front runner. You are a Prefontaine of whatever sport you do. If you're in front, you shine. If you're behind, you wilt. But today I chose something different. And I'm sure you said go in front, and usually that's when you don't do so well. But I chose to go in front today, to lead the way, to show you a line, to show you that it was possible.
Well, it also showed me you did that and you were okay.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Michael survived, so there's a good chance I'll survive too.
I hadn't put in quite those dire of a terms.
So there was another
Carrie, we love you. By the way, we love you. We love you. We love you.
I wish you were here. I've been thinking about you. Carrie was with me in Sedona the last time I was here back in March.
So you're saying in dire terms?
So I mean, during this ride, which was several miles long, I had some time to think about whether or not I enjoyed mountain biking.
And all I'm thinking to myself, and for part of this, is it wasn't me this was a cosmic setup. I wouldn't even choose to get mountain bikes. That was just a total flow thing. We were trying to get just regular e-bikes. We ended up with mountain bikes. So here we are on this trail. I'm like, I didn't choose this trail. I didn't choose to take her mountain biking. I'm not trying to drag her along. But if anything happens, she will hate this sport forever.
That's kind of like the fear I had. If anything happens to Sedona, he's going to hate Sedona forever. He's never going to want to come back, and there's no way he's going to want to live here. So yeah, I'm like asking myself, do I enjoy this? It's like, it's exhilarating. And when I was coming up to like a technical descent or ascent, I'd wonder to myself, am I going to make it? And, you get adrenaline from that. And then afterwards, I'd go, yay, I made it. I survived. Which is a nice high, but it's like, did I really need to go through that? Should I really be asking, am I going to make it?
Living on the edge. That's all I hear in my head is like Bon Jovi or something.
I'm not like an adrenaline junkie, so we'll
what
see
did
if
you
they're
learn?
more.
See if there are more adventures.
No,
I am not pushing. I'm not anything.
No, I think I'll keep it at the green circles, maybe occasional blue square, and go from there. We'll see if I get any more comfortable or not.
Well, what I was sharing from this is you're saying were you saying my comfort zone was there? What were the words that you were using?
I was saying that I didn't feel confident.
That's it. And to me, confidence comes with gentle practice. Confidence comes with gentle practice. Because if you make something tremendous and make it, that could be a one-off. But if you're tiny, you have a little success, and then you have a taste of a little bit more, and then taste a little bit more, your comfort zone expands. So in my old days of riding, like I did one downhill race. And I blew a tire near the finish, spun around backwards, barrel rolled it, and still got like second or third place in this race. And said I would never, ever do another one again in my life. I'm like, if this is what it takes for success, why would I do this? But I rode with a friend in France by the name of Terry. And Terry came home bloody and bruised every bike ride.
Oh.
And to him, that was a good bike ride. To me, if I get a scratch on myself on a bike ride or even a mountain bike ride, that was too much. I have a huge safety zone that I work in that is much greater than others because of my skill and my practice. But I don't want to exceed that safety zone. So you start with a small safety zone. Stay within it. You don't need to push outside of it. As you grow more comfortable, it'll expand and you get more confident. It'll expand and you'll get more confident. And so we just need these tiny tastes of success. But you never want to, it's sort of like I watched hiking in the Grand Canyon years ago, a woman dragging her son along. That negative experience is scarring, and I so didn't want you to have that, because now your comfort zone is larger. Whether you try to or not, you'll go to a green and you're like, I got this. This thing about what I've learned from everybody in Sedona so far, the handful of people that I've spoken with at bike shops, is there is almost no green, but there is lots of blue. And you've just cracked that blue barrier, baby. Good job.
Thank you.
Anything else? Well, let's see. They say that the conscious mind is only 5, maybe 7% of what's going on. And you're stuck with whatever is going on in the subconscious unless you do years of therapy or God knows what. Now, first off, you can do lots of energetic clearing. And I've done that. And in fact, this morning at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, when it looked like our sewage system might overflow today, and I just had to breathe into it and sleep, not breathe into the sewer fumes when I'm going. I'm doing all sorts of tapping and different kind of work on me. And
you actually prayed.
Oh gosh, I prayed to the angels.
And then in the morning when we got up, we pressed the monitor to check what the levels were. And they were at empty.
It was so cool. How does it get any better than that? So that prayer to the angels tremendously helps. But they lie. They lie when they say your subconscious is only 7%, 5, 6, 7%. And there's nothing really you can do about the subconscious without massive effort. Bring awareness to your subconscious with love, certainly with the angels if you can. I am a huge believer of getting beyond yourself, going to something greater than yourself. But when you can bring that awareness and bring that love, I believe you can transform something almost in an instant. Almost in an instant. I truly believe the angels were doing laser therapy with this brilliant light because I brought the ingredients together. I brought awareness to what Q is saying, unconditional love. And in that spot, they brought in the light because the ingredients were there, and it all changed like that. And I needed this experience. I don't know if you needed it. Maybe you needed it.
The whole Sedona experience?
This whole trip so far of seeing, wait, he's not falling apart. He's not melting down, but also your own journey.
No, definitely. I think our relationship is definitely stronger because of this trip.
And if we're thinking about baby in the future, which we certainly are, much better to have somebody that you feel now is really, truly, and maybe I'm saying too much, but working on anyway, being your rock.
Yeah.
So do we want to take a few questions here?
Sure.
All right. Let's see what kind of questions we have. If you posted a question before, please put it down below, because we're just kind of rolling through this. Through this ticker. With that said, if you want to follow our full journey, can we put that link down for Patreon again? Is it www.patreon?
Usually I put HD.
All right.
It's hard to type at an angle. What were the topics discussed?
And Terrell, I think you said that we met this weekend. The topics that were discussed is we're using our story of some really significant triggers in our lives, and how we are able to bring awareness. Mind control isn't forcing yourself to do anything, isn't pushing yourself to do too much. Again, we want to operate within this comfort zone. It is bringing hyper awareness to the wound, breathing into it, leaning into that wound with unconditional love. And I would say, going into discussion with yourself, with the angels, I was having so many talks, so many beautiful discussions with myself as I'm bouncing through the Navajo Nation on this 14-ton vehicle. Continuous awareness and discussion and openness and love. And that's what we're talking about tonight. That creates, it's alchemy. I am an alchemist. I transform energy into matter. You do as well. You're hungry, you find food. You're an alchemist. But in this case, I was doing alchemy and surgery on a subconscious level, through the awareness, through that love, through those internal discussions and dialogue, from a place of unconditional love, not from a place of chastising myself. Instead, from this place of, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay.
Somebody asked, Dig Dug asked, do you feel Sedona has special energy? I do, and that's why it keeps drawing me back. Actually, I came here 5 years ago with my dad, right after we had moved from Maui to New Jersey, and I was still healing from the black mold. And one of my reasons for coming out here was the dryness.
Yeah,
I wanted to wring myself out, so to speak. And I fell in love with Sedona. And I remember going on a hike outside of Oak Creek Village, and there were a bunch of crickets in the parking lot. And I had a conversation with the crickets, and I asked them to bring me back.
Can you hear them right now?
Yeah.
Forgive me, I'm not checking the phone for email. I'm checking how our Wi-Fi is, what our battery level is. It started at 8.8. It is at 7.7. How cool is that?
And the interesting thing about the crickets is they started to reappear in our lives in a very interesting way a couple weeks before we left Colorado.
Oddly enough, missing a leg. Missing a left leg. We were taking photos of them, but left is the heart. Maybe we're coming into the heart now.
Yeah. And the last time I was here in March, I did some special hikes and ended up at least one vortex unintentionally. And,
what's a vortex for people who don't know?
I don't even know how to explain. It's a swirling upward energy. Do you have a better definition?
I think that works very well. If you've ever felt dizzy from a Ferris wheel ride, or that's a very gentle ride, but some sort of ride, and you feel that's how you feel a little bit.
And at the time, it was right around the time we were launching a bunch of new projects, and I really feel like my time here helped launch those projects upward. Next question.
Go for it.
Or did you want it? What is your experience?
Well, I have my feet on the earth. I do like having my feet on the earth, so that just feels good. I haven't felt, actually, I felt the opposite so far, but we are the field that we swim in, and the field has been kind of spring breakers so far. Spring breakers and off-road vehicles. But I mean, we had this RV parky place here was full this morning, and now it's only 3 vehicles. So that energy might shift dramatically over the next few days. And we've also been on vehicles, mountain bikes. We're going to go hiking tomorrow, which might feel very different as well.
Joe asked, what is good for studying more when it comes to test taking? I study long hours to gain information without studying 6 hours.
Joe, I have so many tips and tools on there. It really depends on what's going on with your mind. It can be food and diet. It can be time of day. It can be amount of sleep. It can be stress and anxiety levels.
I was gonna say, one of the mistakes I made in college was probably not getting enough sleep, and that really, really limits your brain function. Whoops.
I do have a much older book at this time that might be helpful called College Confidence with ADD. It's for anybody. It was published a good 10, 12 years ago. No, 15 years ago at this point. Anyway, going on from there.
Carrie asked, if I would like to donate a different amount than what is a patron, where can I go? I'd love to support you guys during this tour.
So Carrie, I'm pretty sure if where you go into patron, you can actually click a drop down menu and choose one of their dollar amounts, or I think it gives you the option to put in whatever you desire. And so that would be one easy method. We do we know off the top of our head, there is a PayPal, is it paypal.me /
Inspire Nation. Yeah.
So that would be the other option. Jessica can put that in here.
There's no way to make that a recurring thing, though, and I'm not sure if that's what she's asking for.
If it's recurring, you can put it, I believe, whatever amount in Patreon. Now, I could be wrong. That might just be a one-time thing as well. And thank you so much, Carrie. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Edgar asked, why does simple things wind up being impossible? I'm trying to print in 3D, but the computer is not cooperating. I had no issue a month ago.
So, Edward, the question is, and it's a brilliant question. I jumped in.
No. Go ahead.
The question is, so it says the computer did not cooperate. Maybe the computer, Edward, is cooperating at a higher level. And there is some steering that's going on by not being able to print or do this project or do this piece of the puzzle at this time. So oftentimes we are blocked. Jessica and I specifically are blocked. We can't take this turn. We can't do whatever it is. The e-bikes. Let's go to the e-bike, unless you have a better example.
No, that's a perfect example. Not having a tow car totally changes how we experience every place that we go to.
Yeah, we were supposed to have a tow vehicle and it did not work out, which is a whole story. And Edward, you've kind of heard this sob story behind it. But when we went and looking for e-bikes, and one bike after the next is not available, is not there, is not in the right size, is not a fit. We're going for this Goldilocks scenario. And in fact, at one bike shop said that the e-mountain bikes, not the full suspension, he said the hardtail specifically. Maybe we could have found a full suspension. We didn't know to look for his full suspension. But that they were, quote, impossible to come by. That's what we ended up getting. It was total flow and synchronicity. And out on the trails today, I was thinking, this is actually really fun and was completely unintentional. You wanted a fat bike that was like a city.
Yeah, like a fat tire, because I thought, well, it'll be fun to ride in the snow. And then I thought I wanted something that would be really convenient in the city, but then you couldn't go off-road.
And it was one block after the next, sort of like a printer that's not working. Everything felt out of alignment and felt wrong until all of a sudden it felt right.
Mhm.
And then we just knew. We took them. I didn't even need to test drive this thing.
Yeah, we walked up. They were outside the store on the sidewalk, and we walked up, and I was like, "There's two." And then I looked at the size. I'm like, a small and a medium. Oh,
And they're in yellow.
Yeah, they're gray and yellow. Marie Rose had asked if we had practiced earthing out here. Yes. On gravel, because I couldn't find my sandals.
I am barefoot here, and I stripped off the shoes when we were talking with this amazing alternative healing gentleman who works with food sensitivities by the name of Mark. We were talking with him at the Grand Canyon at the North Rim. And we were talking to him about our books, Barefoot Running and stuff. And I noticed I was in my moccasins. And I'm like, what am I doing? And the shoes came off. Your shoes were already off. My shoes came off, and my shoes have continued to come off and continued to come off and continued to come off ever since. And it's one thing, maybe that says something. At least where we were in Colorado was like the opposite of where you could go barefoot.
There was a lot of cacti. And the trails were quite rocky as well.
And this is, yes, there are some rocks, but it's more like the beach. You commented earlier today, this stuff is very barefoot runnable.
Yes. It's very soft and sandy. So we will be spending more time barefoot.
Absolutely. And maybe that's getting back to our roots and getting grounded. And
if you happen to meet us, we'll give you a barefoot running DVD.
Oh, heck yeah.
It's been fun handing those out every
now I wonder how many did we keep, because how many can we give away? We never had a way in the past to give them away. Now we do. But one of the concerns in the past in Sedona was that I would spin out based on the energy. So far, I mean, I kept last night hearing the motors of these Can-Am vehicles in my head, but spending that time grounded or whatever, I do not at this point feel spun out at all.
No,
and you
I would
are a
say
good spin out meter of me.
You're even more grounded than I am. Yeah, I know.
Take note, everybody. Anchor this one in, because I actually heard the words earlier today. You are right. I don't know what it was about.
It's because we're in Sedona.
But I will remember that, because I am wrong at least 99
see
out of 100 times.
See how good Sedona is for a relationship? All right, let's see. Next question.
And I had a vegan organic pizza. How does it get any better than that?
There's a restaurant that has... Oh, Carrie and I discovered this restaurant together, and it's all organic, and they have these amazing salads and these pizzas and the entire vegan menu. Okay,
warms my heart.
Picasso or Pizzazzo or something like that. So check it out if you're here. No more questions? Well, it's 1:08, or it's been an hour and 8 minutes. Maybe it's time to wrap it up.
So, anything last that you want to share with people?
Have you embraced a tree over there? Ooh. We have not embraced a tree out here. There in Sedona, we haven't come across big trees, but there have been the smooth, silky trees that remind you of trees on Maui. And when you're waiting for me on the mountain bike trail,
they're like koa wood. They're super heavy, incredibly dense. They don't bend at all. They're not like they're gonna snap if they in a wind. They're just so solid. And I've held these trees, and we did put our hands on the pine trees in North Rim as well. But you're right. We need to go hug these trees. Any other questions?
Christina has a question.
Yeah.
And then I think we should wrap it up.
All right. Feeling a little lost and very low in motivation. Any suggestion? I want you to find, first off, Christina, let's get you out to nature if you can. And this is a great gross generalization, but I've coached so many people in Australia. There seems to be a lot more nature available than there is in the US, even though having flown over the Southwest last week with Dr. Bradley Nelson, there's a lot of empty space out here. But get yourself out into nature, Christina. I think that can be hugely helpful. And then do something you love. Give yourself permission, whatever that is: baking, painting, sewing, walking, mountain biking, diamond, anything, getting your feet in the earth. Do something that brings you joy. And come join us at our boot camp. That would be one great thing to do. We've got our boot camp Wednesday where we have all your homies are going to be together. And it is a session this Wednesday where, and it's only $7 to try it out, where we're talking about from breakdown to breakthrough, how these low moments, and that's really what we're talking about. These low moments are actually here to serve us and become breakthrough moments. Getting on this trail became a breakthrough moment for you. Getting stuck on 533 and not being able to U-turn or turn around or do anything was a breakthrough moment for us.
Catherine asked, when is our next live? Should be Sunday. Around this time, we're thinking about moving it up half an hour so that you can see more of the background of wherever we're at before it gets dark. So might be... what?
That would be at right now where it's.
It might be 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. Right.
All right. Any last? I always ask you that. This is sort of like, do you have any pithy words?
I'm just so excited that you guys got to experience a new setup for us, because we haven't done a live outdoors, have we?
You're glowing. No,
we have. Well, back in Colorado, but we've never done one out on the road with lights that function.
Actually, let's take this one more step. Every single live event, almost without exception, in Colorado, boom. Would that be a good description?
That's true. Yeah, the internet would crash. If I tried to put up a light, the wind would blow it over.
Howling winds, microphones, God only knows what. And here instead it's been chill, man.
Yeah.
Cool as a cucumber. All right. Love you guys so much. Patreon.com is where you get to find our daily, all sorts of behind the scenes stuff. So please come and support us. We love you. It would really help us out here. We've got our boot camp Wednesday where we will love you up as a group and help you on your amazing healing journey. And then if you want to learn how to plug in, and every single morning, I've been plugging into automatic writing in bed next to the Pookie, headphones on, theta brain entrainment music, hearing from source and universe where we get to go, what we get to do, and how to heal. That'd be at automaticwriting.com. And so love you guys so much. Thank you. We feel the love, we feel the support, and we're so glad to be on the journey with you.
Thank you.
Woohoo!
Good night, everybody on this side of the hemisphere. Good morning on the other side.
How does it get?
Aloha.
Aloha. Yes. Thank you, Marie Rose. Thank you, everyone. Bye.